Aidan Hutchinson, stat-wise, for the first 3 seasons is comparable with Myles Garrett's first 3 seasons.
He's averaged 9 sacks. Myles Garrett's averaged about 12 or 13 now. So does.
So is Jaden Daniels going to win the Super Bowl?
No.
Why?
When is he? You said he's great.
No.
He's one of the top, 3 or 5 or what? What'd you say?
No, I didn't say Jaden Daniels top 5. No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you said that.
No, I said Lamar and
He said Caleb Williams.
No.
I didn't say Caleb Jackson.
I said Caleb Williams.
Jackson, who has never won the big game and chokes every big game that he's ever played in.
That is
he
true.
Going to win the Super Bowl?
But he's better than. But he's better than golf. But he's better than golf.
Is he going to win? Well, how is he better than golf? He hasn't won any big games. He didn't win the Super Bowl. Every time he gets to the championship game, he chokes, and he chokes in a big way.
So
he can't get it done. So he's never won one. So is he in the same boat as golf?
So who would you take?
As far as what?
Quarterback.
I'd take them both. I'd play them both. I'd platoon them.
Right.
I'd platoon them.
Right.
Running plays, I'd put in Jackson. Passing plays, I'd put in golf.
Here, I'll pose this question to you: Do you have to be a good? Do you have to be a mobile quarterback in this league in order to win a Super Bowl?
No.
So who's won the Super Bowl? Oh, so Mahomes is the only great quarterback because he's won the Super Bowl, right?
He does. No. Mahomes doesn't have to run. He knows when to run.
He does, and he's an incredible player. I mean, he makes shit happen.
He can sit in the pocket. You don't have. You can be a. I prefer pocket passer. Just know when to run. Golf just can't run. And he can't stop throwing 6 picks in a game. It's just that simple.
He did it, twice last year, right? 5. He threw 5 picks in 2 games?
Yeah, and fumbling.
And so he had 2 bad games all year long.
No, he didn't. He had more than 2 bad games.
No.
Well,
even the game that he threw 4 or 5 picks, they ended up winning that game against Houston.
Yeah, that was crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How many picks did Goff throw last year total? Do you know?
I'm going to check it right now.
Well, probably. Well, he had 10. Well, that's not the regular season. Oh no, don't count the postseason. So he had 5 I know of I'm going to say at least 13
in one game.
At least 13 or 14.
Here's what you want to do.
At least. Nobody said he's not a B-. He's just not an A. He's just not an A.
He threw 12 picks.
I said 12 or 13.
12
picks.
He had 30.
He had 111.8 passer rating.
Yeah, because you got
he threw 72% completion rating.
And you know why that is?
37 touchdowns.
You know why that is? Because he has a running back that opens everything up over the dunk, and that's what he does. That's what he has a running back, just like the quarterback that just won the Super Bowl has a running back to make everything simple. So everybody,
shouldn't it be that way? It's
a
team sport.
Exactly. So everybody's talking about running back doesn't matter. It always mattered.
Always. That's why it's always an 11-man team.
It always mattered. But it's a team sport. But the quarterback gets the blame or the shine. So stop acting like 6 picks or 5 picks and a fumble in the biggest game of the career of the season is not a big deal, and that this man is a good quarterback enough to win the Super Bowl. Stop saying that. Because it hasn't happened, and it won't happen. Because he's had opportunity to do it.
But you can't say that it won't happen.
He has opportunity to do it. I'm going by history. I got to go by history. That's all we can go by.
You're going by the seat of your pants, is what you're.
No, we're going by history.
And you're using. You
have to use the past to get to now. You have to use the past to get to now.
We can't argue that. How can we use a superlative and say, hey, he's going to win the big game? Both of you just said it a minute ago. You said, well, they won 15 games last year, so why can't they do that?
I never said they were going to win 15 games this year.
And I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that.
What I'm saying is, your quarterback stinks, and you know it.
I don't. You can't say he stinks.
He doesn't stink.
No, he stinks in big games. I'm sorry, he stinks in big games. Can we say that? Is that fair?
Okay.
My God, is something around here make Lion?
And you're going to say that, and he
scored 3 points in a Super Bowl. He had the best offense in the world.
We have
and the best defense.
Well, listen.
And he had the best defense with the Rams. They were top 2. And he had the best offense. and he scored 3 points in a Super Bowl.
Dude, just like
why do you think McVay kicked him out of town?
Just like you said, you got to have your running back that evens things out. And his running back
that game. No, but it's the truth, Cole. If Gurley would have been the Gurley that they would have had before he got hurt, that Super Bowl would have been a totally different story.
Okay, so what's the excuse for last? He had Gibbs.
The defense. That was one of the things.
Let's wrap. What's the excuse for last year? He had Gibbs. He had the best back in football.
We couldn't stop their offense, dude. And he threw 5 fucking picks. I mean, what are you going to say about that?
So it's not his fault.
He didn't play good.
You know what Washington's defense was?
I didn't say it was
almost last. They're terrible defensively. They were terrible defensively. This kid had McLaurin.
Not on that game. They weren't terrible.
Okay. Goff was again, and it was what you
good.
just said it. You got to make up your mind. In big games, he hasn't proven it. You just said that. So now you're gonna go against me? You just said it.
Yes,
you just said in big games. Because you just said now you're going against what you said. You said in big games he can't do it. You just said that.
I didn't say he can't do it. You said that.
What did you say about Goff? He said he hasn't proven. Didn't he say that? Can we rewrite the tape? You just said he hasn't proven in big games. He can't do it.
Okay, I said that.
Okay, so you.
I didn't mean
that's
all
mean
I
said.
He can't do it. Just because he hasn't doesn't mean he can't do it.
History has shown he can't.
It's a matter of overcoming, Corey. You know, you've been an athlete long enough.
How many years you got to overcome?
Have you always
how many years? What, 7 years?
Have you always been great as an athlete? Did you not have to? Did you not have down times or a time where you had to raise the level of your play? You know, to become a better player. You know, I heard that you were a great ball player back in the day, and I'd be willing to believe that. I never saw you play, but I'd be willing to believe it.
Well, thank you.
You know, but you know, just as an athlete, person that grew up, you know, playing ball, you know, and being on teams, you know that you weren't always great, but you had to get to a level to be on a good team, and then you had to go to a higher level to be one of the better players on that good team. You know, so, you know, it takes time. And, you know, I'm not saying that Goff is great, you know, because the great guys, you know, like, you can't really argue that Mahomes is not a great player. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame because of the way he's played, especially in big games. And not just in big games, in all games. You know, that dude makes things happen. You know, he's got size. He's got a two-dimensional game where he can run and he can pass. And you're right, he's smart. He knows when to run. Yeah. You know, and do I put Goff in his at his level? No, you really can't. Goff is a one-dimensional kind of quarterback, and that's with his arm. He's not going to win games running. I agree with that. You know, and that's why that's why football. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
No. I think, too, Tony said this a few times. If Goff has got to throw 40 times a game, then you're in trouble.
The loss, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, he had to throw – I'm looking at the stats here. He had to throw 30 sometimes in the Houston game. He had to throw 40 times in the Washington loss to the Washington in the playoffs. Probably these 2 bad games of the year, because other than that, when I'm looking at the stats here, yeah, I mean those were his 2 worst games.
What about the Bills game? How many times did he throw in the Bills game?
In the Bills game, he threw 59 times. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't throw any interceptions in that game.
So what does that really mean? What does that mean? I don't care about that.
Listen, I think when it all boils down to it, we can we say this? And I know we talked about this before on the Roar last year. It's a team sport. Everything's got to – when you win a championship, everything has got to – all the dominoes have got to hit at the right time. Boom, 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 boom. Listen, I think Jared Goff, he's an accurate quarterback. You can say he's thrown this. He hasn't done this in the big games. But I think at times, you know, all-star players have had rough times in the playoffs, and they've gotten over that. And yeah, it remains to be seen if Jared Goff can do that. But I think I want to see Jared Goff with a healthy Sam Laporta, a Jamison Williams being used besides a gadget receiver. I want to see what the defense can do now with Hutchinson being healthy all year long, and a Lynn McNeil coming back, and then you got to figure this: DJ Reader is another defensive tackle that didn't really play that well last year as a free agent sign. You signed DJ Reed. You're having Branch and Kirby Joseph, coming off of great seasons. I think they've improved, and I just want to see it. To say that they're going to win 15 games, I can't say that. I really wouldn't say that. Do I think, in my mind, as a Lions fan, do I think they can win every game? Yes, I think they could, but they're not. We all know that, and it all depends on injuries. And like I said, who's to say we go to Kansas City and Mahomes gets hurt the week before? That could be a win.
That's what kind of happened last year.
Well,
the last time.
Yeah. I mean, you got to play the cards you're dealt. So, I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm not going to say that I think they have a shot at going to the Super Bowl. Will they win the Super Bowl? I can't say that. Because, like I said, it just depends on where the cards fall. Maybe we could talk about this in Week 15 or the first week of the playoffs or whatever. But to say that they're going to go 9-8, I don't know. I just think that's.
It's hard to win on Sundays.
It is.
That's still, you act like that. So you act like that. The Lions have never 6-6. This is the same team that went 0-16. It's possible to go 9-8. It's okay. It's a winning record.
Listen.
This is the same franchise that went 0-16.
I think what it all boils down to is you got to peak at the right time, and if they can win the division and get a good playoff spot with 12 wins or 13 wins, I'm fine with that. Get a bye, get home field advantage. I don't know. Everything has to fall any World Series or Super Bowl everything's had to play out in their favor somehow, some way.